Hello, everyone, and welcome to the bonus call for Taking Territories with Teams. I'm Cari Heibel, the Director of Expansion for Hergenrother Realty Group. I work side by side with Adam Hergenrother, and he asked me to come on and do this bonus call with all of you in regards to recruiting. I'm very excited to be doing that. Before we get started, can you guys raise your hand and let me know that you hear me okay? I just want to make sure it's all working before I continue on. Just click on the little hand by your name there and let me know if you can hear me. Thank you very much for a few of you that have done that. So I'm assuming that means we're good to go. I am super interactive. I really am looking for all of you to interact as much as possible. So there is a question box. Please challenge my thinking, mastermind, make a comment, ask a question, as much as you would like to during this process. It really helps to keep the flow going, honestly. I will stop, and answer those questions as often as we need to, because I think that's how we all know that we are learning together if, in fact, we're having some say in kind of what the conversation's about. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about myself so that you can know why you are on this bonus call with me, and hopefully that you feel confident that you can learn something from me. So I am the Director of Expansion, as I mentioned, here at Hergenrother Realty Group. I was a team leader at Keller Williams in Minnesota for 4 years. Prior to that, I was a top producing agent in the Minnesota Twin Cities area as well. I have recruited over 500 agents from other brokerages or from outside of the industry in the last just shy of 5 years. I have, in that time frame, also helped to develop over 40 top producing teams, both as my role as a team leader and, of course, as my role with Director of Expansion. HRG's agent count has doubled since me joining in May, and I am excited to be on this journey with Adam Hergenrother and the rest of his leadership team. Recently, I moved from Director of Growth into this Director of Expansion, so I'm excited to be even more involved in the leadership. I continue to coach and lead all of our expansion partners and CEOs across the country, and of course, continue to recruit talent to our organization. So that's why you may want to listen a little bit to what I have to share from my experiences in recruiting and attracting talent. That's really my forte. It truly is my strength. It's absolutely my passion. And it's something over the course of the last 5 years that I've been able to develop over time, and really just kind of realized that this was something that I had passion for after I sold real estate on a full-time basis for 10 years. I really had no idea this is what I wanted to do or what I could do or what I would excel at until I had the awesome opportunity to become a team leader of a market center here in Minnesota, where we recruited about 400 people in a period of less than 4 years, and we tripled our agent count. We became the number one office in the state of Minnesota in closed transactions in 1 year. And what I realized in that process was that this was just something that was natural to me. I feel like I have so much passion surrounding finding opportunity for people, and that's what I'd like you guys to think about when you think about recruiting talent. Really, I want you to think about attracting talent. And the way you'll attract talent is by becoming who you have to become in order to do that, right? So think about where you are today and where you need to be and where that gap is in order for you to move from recruiting talent into attracting talent. We're going to talk about that today in this webinar. But truly, this is what I believe ends up happening if you are somebody who is coming from contribution, if you are somebody who is constantly bettering yourself personally and professionally, if you're a natural leader, even if you're not a natural leader, but you're a purposeful leader. Hopefully, we all move from entrepreneurial to purposeful in that regards. And if you believe in what you have to offer people to really be able to be that connector, to be that opportunity provider, to truly believe in your ability to succeed through others, that is going to be the mindset shift as well, I think, as the energy shift and the confidence shift, and the way that you go out to then begin to attract talent versus recruiting talent. So how do you attract talent? Well, you have to lead yourself first. So if you aren't leading yourself at a high level in lead generation and knowing your numbers, in your health, in your just general leadership skills and coming from contribution, providing value to others, in your reputation, in your growth. If you have a hard time leading yourself, you're going to have a difficult time leading others, and you're not going to attract real top talent because they're going to see that you are not, you're not leading by example. You need to create and communicate a clear vision of value, a clear vision and value proposition, and we're going to talk about that in the next slide here. But you have to create that vision that's big enough that the empire builders will see that you are a vehicle for them to achieve all their goals and their vision inside yours. So you definitely have to be able to know where you're going at a very high level. It needs to be a big, big vision. And you need to be able to articulate that in a clear way so that you are attracting those people. They can see you as an opportunity for them. If you aren't in that place yet, it will be difficult for you to move from recruiting to attracting. In fact, it'll probably be difficult for you to even start in the recruiting realm. So we're going to definitely talk about that. So what I've done here for this bonus, for this particular bonus session is really just kind of share a condensed version of my entire Recruiting Without Limits webinar. So if anybody has any interest in more details, you'll be able to reach out to me. So I'm going to articulate this as best as I can in a short period of time. So please ask questions. If I'm moving too fast, would love to stop and make sure that I'm answering them for you. But at the very core of recruiting and then moving to attracting talent is your ability to create and build something that you truly believe in, and then to articulate it in a really strong way. So what do you want to build, or what are you building? You know, what do you believe in to the core of your being? What are those core values? Where are you going? How do you want to become part of your community? Are you tying a charity to your business? That, you need to articulate what is the current culture of your business, or what do you envision that to be? What is your mission statement? What is your vision? What is your belief system? And then what is your value proposition? Why will someone want to work with you? What do you have to offer them? How can they achieve all of their goals inside your world? And the paramount question for all of us is your world big enough so that others can truly fit into it at the levels that they want to? If any of these questions are unclear to you in any way, I would just highly encourage you to write those things down so that you can go back and really start to think a little bit deeper about them. Maybe you have some of these things done already, but you feel like you need to go back and kind of revise them a little bit, update them, change them, because maybe your world has changed since the last time you did this. Don't leave these things stagnant. Don't rush through this. This has to be something that you truly, believe in. You can see it happening. You have clarity. Clarity is power, right? I talked to all the people within our expansion group this morning on our power-up call about clarity being power. It's interesting how clarity will actually put in front of you the path that you need to take, the activities that need to happen next. When you don't have that clarity, you'll be stuck. You'll start to procrastinate. You'll do things quickly and haphazardly, and they won't really have a lot of meaning. But if you really have clarity in where you're going, the things will happen so that your reality will transform. And that is truly something I believe, because it's been the story of my entire life in terms of my career. And that's a story for another time. But the reality is that you have to be able to feel, see, touch, understand with your senses what it's going to look like as you transform your business and where you actually end up. If you want to be a $100 million team, if you want to expand, all of those things have to be visualized. But not only that, you have to have those things articulated. So now, when you're talking to people, you're not just talking to people about coming to sell real estate on your team. You're talking to people about how they can transform their lives through the partnership with you. You're talking about the leadership opportunities. So what you want to do is develop something so that people will come into your world to be an agent with you on your team long enough for them to move into their next leadership opportunity with you, or into their leadership opportunity with you. So let that one sink in. That's a big aha for many, which is you need to go find people who are willing to be an agent in your world on your team long enough for them to move into their leadership opportunity with you. So you should be out recruiting and attracting leaders, not just people that want to sell real estate forever, because that is how you're going to build a massive business. It's also how those individuals are going to be able to move into the next part of their career, because when you surround yourself with that level of talent, the success is going to push you to grow, not the other way around, and that is going to be key. So this is an example of our, vision, mission, and belief system, and we talk about our mission within our organization literally on a daily basis. Our mission is to transform lives through homeownership. Not only the clients that we're working with, because we are taking part in one of the top 5 most transformational events of their life, which is buying or selling real estate. So we are transforming their lives through homeownership every single time we get to a successful closing. And we are transforming the lives of every real estate professional that's in our world through homeownership as well, because every single time they get to a successful closing, that their own lives and their family's lives are changed and transformed forever. And so it's important for you to know what your vision, your mission, and your belief system is, and that you talk about it all the time, that it's visual around you and your team members, that you're utilizing it with everybody you talk to, your clients, your sphere of influence, your preferred referral partners, your preferred vendors, the people that are referring business to you on a regular basis, people in your community. Why do you want to share this with everyone, including your buyers and sellers? Because people want to work with an organization and with people who have vision, who have missions, who have belief systems. That will attract talent. Talent wants to work with people who know where they're going, and they also want to be able to feel a sense of synergy or feel some commonality in the vision, mission, and belief system. They want to have something that will motivate and inspire them to be successful as well. And so this is a really, really important piece, and I promise you that when you do this and you truly believe in it and you articulate it on a regular basis, this is going to be a critical piece for recruiting and attracting talent as well, by the way, as retaining the agents and the people that you have, the talent that you have on your team, as well as helping them continue to get more business if they're using this in their buyer and listing presentations as well. So this is a multifaceted opportunity here if you use it in the right way. First and foremost, you have to develop it, and you have to really believe in what you're putting down on paper, and you have to, again, articulate it all the time. So moving on to providing value and fostering relationships. So once you have your vision, your mission, your belief systems, you know what your value proposition is, you are articulating it at a high level in terms of recruiting and attracting talent, telling everybody about it, looking for people that may want to be in business with you. You have to have that foundation, right? Once you have that foundation and you go and start to find talent that you are talking to, that's when you move into the next step. But how can you then go find those people? How I was able to find 500 plus people to partner with, either as a team leader or within our expansion opportunity, is truly by providing value and coming from contribution and fostering relationships. Now, this is a very big topic, and we could go much more than an hour just on this little piece of it. So I'm going to touch on a few things that hopefully will be some important takeaways for you. But the reality is, and this is simple, but a lot of people don't realize it, recruiting is just like real estate sales. If you are a top producing real estate salesperson, as I assume that you are going to use the same skill set and go about it the same way as you would when you're looking for a buyer or seller, right? It is about the relationship that you're either in right now with your sphere of influence, with your past or current clients, with people in your community, with your preferred vendors and the biggest referring partners, right? And of course, it's about the new relationships that you're going to develop. And so how do you strengthen those existing relationships, and how do you then develop further the relationships that you already or that you're just starting to have? Well, you have to offer, like we said, vision. You have to become the brand, if you will, where people think of opportunity, particularly in the real estate world, and that when they are looking for a new career change, when they know somebody that is looking for a new career change, when they hear about somebody getting into real estate, when they have friends in the industry, you want to be that person that they all think of as the person that will offer amazing opportunity in this career. And how you can do that, you guys, is by, of course, always articulating that vision and that value proposition that you've developed, but by providing inspiration and motivation, by coaching and mentoring and training others, by offering advice and wisdom, by sharing with those in the industry and those that might be thinking of getting into the industry. Coming from contribution is really something that will go a long way in developing those relationships. And so the reality is that if you're putting yourself in front of people that you want to be in business with and that you're showing them value or bringing them value versus telling them about how you can bring them value, those are two very different things. So a couple of different things that that I did to do that are on the screen here: communicating my vision, bringing people motivation and inspiration, coaching and training. So there's a lot of venues in which you can, and platforms in which you can do this, but obviously social media is one of the biggest. Now, whether you choose to do a podcast or whether you choose to do a Facebook Live or a different video or use something like Blog Talk Radio, it doesn't matter what you choose, you're going to obviously then push it out on social media. So obviously, it's probably going without saying that you need to be connected with as many people in social media as possible that may be someone that you could be in business with. So, of course, your normal sphere of influence and friends and family and people from your community and all the people I've mentioned before, because, by the way, many of those could be somebody that ultimately would want to work with you, or they'll know somebody that would. I mean, everybody knows multiple realtors, right? So if you're gaining that mind share with your sphere, even if they have other people that are you know, in the industry that maybe live in their neighborhood or go to their church, they may then make that introduction or suggest that person reach out or check you out on social media, right? There's so many different ways that this exposure could go. But I'll tell you, if there's consistency in what you do on social media, what you might push out to your database or to the database of recruits that maybe you have in a CRM, or of course your database of sphere of influence and your METs and not METs and so forth. It doesn't matter how you push this out, but the key is consistency, and the key is to build that brand and that mind share so people think of you as the opportunity maker in this industry. So how do you do that? Well, you do that through coaching and training, number one, because it shows that you're an expert. It shows that you're somebody that could help someone be successful, could bring them value in a big way, at a high level in this industry. It shows, by the way, when you're doing that, you're also showing all the people out there that could become a possible client of yours, that you are an expert. So there's always going to be multiple benefits of doing this. Your focus may be attracting talent and gaining mind share in the way of having a ton of opportunity in this industry as you build your business, but you'll always have opportunity to reap the benefits on the side of, you know, looking for buyers and sellers as well. Because every time you do this, you're showing your expertise. People are going to know that you know what you're doing in this industry, that you are top talent, that you're building a huge business. By the way, people, both on the recruiting side and on, you know, the buyer-seller side, want to work with successful people, right? The busier and more successful you are, the more business you'll likely get, and it's because people naturally attract to busy, successful people. Same goes for recruits as well. So when you're on social media, when you're sending things out to your databases, when you're communicating with people that might want to become in business with you, you need to show the culture of your team, your personality, because people want to know, like, and trust you before they would ever think about working with you. You have to showcase your expertise and that you're coming from contribution. There's no strings attached. You just like to share with people. You want to help people be better in the career. You want to help people understand their opportunity in this industry, right? And so all of those things are going to be critical. I'm going to give you one thing right now that I would love for you guys to write down, and I can get you some additional information if you'd like. You can go ahead and just contact me and I can send it to you via email. But there was one particular thing that I actually did that was very, very, very effective in recruiting talent from the industry. So people who are already licensed, who are already selling real estate, many of them were selling quite a bit of real estate. And I was able to actually show them value, get into a coaching relationship with them, show them how they could do more business in my world through the coaching, the training, the systems, and so forth, by actually providing them some kind of, if you will, confidential, kind of guilt-free coaching. And so what I did is I sent out a video to people within the industry that were not with my organization, that were selling real estate. By the way, you can get these lists from a broker that if you're a broker, you have access to broker metrics. If you own a brokerage, not if you have a broker's license, but if you own a brokerage. If you are within a brokerage, you can get it from the leader there, the broker team leader, etc. And you just go in and you put criteria in there. It extracts all the information right directly from the MLS. It's kind of the backside of the MLS. So essentially, if you wanted to say, I would like to get information on all of the realtors not with my company already, that are within a 20-mile radius of X address or X city, or are in the certain zip codes that are doing from this production to this production, you can search for it. It will extract in a CSV file, and then you could literally import it right into your CRM. It's interesting because those reports will actually show you if they're up or down in production level year over year. It'll tell you the volume that they're selling, if it's buy side or list side. It will give you their contact information. It's a great recruiting source. So if you haven't been able to do that, I highly would encourage you to go talk to your leader and ask if you can get that information so that you can build that database real quickly. Now, when you have that, you can, of course, set up a 33 touch to them just like you would your regular database. And part of that is by bringing value in all these different ways I'm talking about here: videos, training sessions, invites to trainings, offers to coach, invites to your podcast if you do them. By the way, if you don't want to do something as structured as a podcast and you don't love video, Blog Talk Radio is a great platform. It's just your voice. You can buy a domain and point it there. If you go to coachingwithcari.com, that goes directly to my Blog Talk Radio that I had developed over a few years. And there's an entire library of short coaching and training sessions that I provided that I use in recruiting all the time. Again, a way for people to come in, listen when they wanted to, have a resource, see my expertise and the value I bring, but didn't have to be in an actual interview with me right away, right? So I developed this relationship with these people through these platforms until they were ready to basically reach out to me, and then I recruited them. And this is the process of building that brand and building that awareness of what you can bring to people and the value that you truly want to bring to people in this industry and in your world. So to move along to this program, so now that you have the database of all of these people that are in the area that are selling real estate, and you want to provide them opportunity, right? You know that you have opportunity for them to join and partner with you on their team. On your team. You know they could have a better life. You know that your value proposition is going to help them get more business. They're not going to have spending so much time in the business. They're going to have leverage. They're going to have administrative assistance. They're going to have better coaching and training. They're going to have a team to motivate them, inspire them, fill in when they need it. All of the value proposition that you have developed, you know that you can help them. How do you get in conversation with these people who are already selling real estate, but really probably want to be doing much more and could be doing much more if they were on the right team? Well, you develop that list from broker metrics, you put it in a CRM, and you start to share your story with them in a 33 touch or something similar. What I did in my process was send a video out offering to coach a limited amount of people in a phone group coaching program. And so the video was called the 100K Club. And essentially the video said, I'm reaching out today because I am looking for 20 people in the area with any company who really is sick of not reaching their fullest potential in this career. Who out there is committed to consistently making six figures in this industry, not having the roller coaster ride, not having the ups and downs in their income, the inconsistencies and the stresses that come with that, and to truly develop a business that is consistent and systematized so that they are comfortable knowing that they're going to have a business worth owning and making six figures in this industry. I only want to have 20 people in this coaching program, and I really want it to be people who are truly committed to making this happen, dedicated to this goal. If this is you, I would love for you to reach out to me. Please know there are no strings attached. This is not a recruiting event. This is going to be completely anonymous. It's going to be a free coaching, and I'm doing this to come from contribution, but also because I'm looking to develop my coaching skills and my coaching resume. So it's going to benefit me. I hope and I'm confident it's going to benefit those in this program, and I would love to bring this to you. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. What we're going to do is we are going to make sure that you are involved in a 6-week coaching program that will bring you value, but you don't have to meet with me in person. No one else in the program is going to know that you're in the program, but you truly are going to receive value. So what I did is I overcame any initial objection. I took all objections off the table, and I created that sense of urgency. There's only 20 spots, and I really only want to talk to you if you're serious. And so I received a tremendous amount of emails back, the most I'd ever received back in a recruiting email I'd ever done, which was very encouraging. So I chose all the people. There was more than 20, and I took them all, of course. I think it was something like 26, 27 people. And I sent them a follow-up email saying, thank you so much. I'm excited to have you in the program. Here are the dates. Here are the times. This is how it's going to work. I always, of course, blind copied everybody, so nobody saw who was on the email. And then throughout the 6-week program, I did a 1-hour phone call. It was through freeconferencecall.com. By the way, that is actually free. Everybody called into a number. They could interact. They talked. They shared. They masterminded. Nobody knew who anybody was, but they had just a great time being open and learning from each other, which was really awesome for me as a coach, to be honest, to see it happen. I had very specific curriculum, and then I followed up on email after each session. I sent them the recording so that they could have it in case they missed or in case they wanted to listen to it again. And then I sent them some supporting documents that they could take away, and some homework, and so that they had some accountability to actually be able to see their business change because of my coaching. The one thing that I put at the beginning of them deciding to be in this coaching program with me was that the only thing that I would ask from them is at the end of the 6 weeks that they would sit down with me for 15 to 20 minutes, have a quick coffee, and just give me feedback on the program, since this was the first time I had done it. They all were happy to do that. But by the way, I was guaranteed an appointment with all of these people after the 6 weeks, right? So during the 6 weeks, I built rapport. I showed them value. I came from contribution, and I learned a lot about their business, by the way, so that when I actually sat down and met with them after the 6 weeks, they felt like they knew me. They got value. They were open to talking. And the really cool thing about it, honestly, was that I already had a built-in recruiting conversation because I knew where their strengths were. I knew where their weaknesses were. By the way, at the beginning, I also sent them a questionnaire that just asked them a little bit about their business, because I told them I wanted to know enough so that I could tailor the program to best fit their needs. So now I knew everything about their business, their strengths, their weaknesses, their challenges, etc. So I could bring value in the coaching, but honestly, it was so I could then, at the end of the program, know how I was going to approach them. I ended up recruiting over 50% of these people over a period of 9 months. So not all of them joined right away, although I got 4 cappers within just a couple months of the program. This was as a team leader, by the way, I did this, but I have challenged all of my expansion partners to do this in their local market, and it has been amazing for them to just build that reputation of somebody coming from contribution, of a coach, in this industry, in the area, and it really leads to developing some strong relationships. Then the really cool thing, you guys, is you have success stories to share. So when you go and do this the next time, you could actually share some of those testimonials, some of those success stories, and it helps you to build even a larger presence and also a larger opportunity to coach more people. So this definitely isn't just something that you would want to do once. It would be something that you'd want to do maybe quarterly or as often as you could, truly. Once you have the system built, it really is no more than an hour a week, right? And so it really is a huge opportunity for you. You could do something like this even for people who are thinking about getting into real estate or who are going through, the real estate licensure process, and it could be very basic in ways of showing them how important it is to be connected with a team that has all of the systems that they need. You could easily weave that in, right? So I think that there's a lot of value, whatever you decide to do, in coming from contribution, whether you just want to do blog talk radio sessions and push those out and share with people, whether you want to actually do a coaching program like this, if you're training in market centers, if you're training in your board, if you are training in Ignite and meeting people. But I want to give you some different strategies in terms of how you can attract both people who are talent that are coming into the industry, but honestly, people who are already producing real estate. I really want to shift your mindset when it comes to attracting talent. If you have a strong vision If you have a strong value proposition, if you know where you're going and you are confident that people can succeed in your world and that there are going to be leadership opportunities, you need to start talking to people who are massive talent. You need to start talking to people who are rookies of the year in your market center or your office or your area. You need to be talking to producers that are talent. Don't go for people who aren't succeeding thinking they're going to come on your team and all of a sudden magically start to succeed. By the way, the reason they were probably not succeeding before, now granted, they could do better with systems, but if they aren't talent who are driven to succeed and not making some things happen in their own world by themselves, you aren't going to necessarily be able to change that. You can't, assume that you can partner with somebody, want it more than they do, and be the miracle worker, because what's going to happen is you're going to be frustrated and disappointed when they don't come in and succeed. You're going to have higher rates of turnover. You're going to have a lot more work on your hands. And if you just have the confidence in yourself and what you are building to go out there and have conversations with producers to say, look, come build this with me together. We can do this. Come be on my team. Be an agent at first, just long enough for that next leadership opportunity, because here's my vision, here's where we're going, and here's what we can do together. Those are the kind of conversations I would highly encourage you to be having. That's why a coaching program like this, where you're getting in front of producing agents and showing your value, I think are so critical, because now you get into those relationships, you can have those conversations, and you can truly articulate this to them in a big way. So, always be recruiting, right? Share your vision with everyone. Ask everyone who they might know that could be a part of it. Tell people that you are looking for talent constantly. Share who you are looking for specifically. You're looking for rock star talent that probably isn't out of a job. They're probably knocking it out of the park in whatever they're doing right now, because that's who you want in your world, because that's who's going to fit into your vision and actually make it come to a reality with you. Share your organization's culture. Share your organization's fail forwards and successes, right? I believe in sharing stories. That's the one thing that has also helped me a tremendous amount in attracting talent, is always just sharing the stories of people in my world, because I don't have to tell people that, look, if you partner with me, you're going to be successful. I will help people be successful. People will hear it, but do they really believe it? And that's not what's going to compel them to want to talk to you about an opportunity. What's going to compel them is a constant and consistent message of other people in your world being successful. That is completely a direct, it's you. They know it's you. You're the commonality there, right? If every person that comes into your world, or most people that come into your world, are having success, are getting promoted, are finding new opportunities, that you are sharing this, you're the common denominator. That is obvious to the people that are following you, that are friends with you, that know you, that you're communicating with. So share stories as often as possible. I just did an interview, a video interview with each of my expansion partners, the CEOs across the country. And one of the questions I asked them was, it was a video that we were doing for recruiting in their local market. The question was, what is the vision for your business and what opportunities exist? And then I just shared, in the growth that you've had so far, man, you've had some amazing success stories. The people in your world, you're just pouring into them and succeeding through them, and it is so amazing to see. Can you share, a little bit about some of those success stories? And when the expansion partner, the CEO of that business, is sharing, people who came into the industry, people who came onto my team and partnered with me. By the way, the words you use matter. So partnering with you is going to be something more appealing than joining you. Or you're not hiring them, you're partnering with them. So the CEO says, those that are partnering with me, I have experienced agents who've been in the business for years, who have done more in just a couple of months' time on our team than they did in the entire year that they were, the last year that they were licensed on their own. And they're now actually having conversations about getting showing assistance because they have so many clients they don't have the time to show all the homes to. It's literally transforming their life. And every time somebody's life is transformed in my organization, I know I'm doing what I need to do for myself and my family as well. These are the kinds of things people respond to, but you can't just do it once in a while. You have to do it all the time. And when you come from that place of sharing stories, you come from that place of coming from contribution, you're sharing the culture, you're doing all of the things to show people, you then are going to build that brand in your local market, and you will all of a sudden start attracting talent. People will be emailing you, people will be private messaging you, saying, hey, I have a friend who's looking for a new career. You were the first person I thought of. Hey, you know, I'm a realtor with this brokerage. I'm not getting everything out of my brokerage that I need, or I feel like there's more for me in this career, and I followed your stuff. I'd love to talk to you. These were the kinds of messages, calls, texts, private messages, and emails I was getting, and I still do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And it was not me reaching out to anybody. It was just me doing these things on a consistent basis. So hopefully that helps you guys to think of some of the things you're passionate about, you're excited about, you like to do, that you would love to share. How can you share it? What different ways can you do that to get into relationship with people, as well as to truly just create a consistent pattern in the way that you share this with those around you? That's key as well. You have to be consistent in your execution. It can't be once in a while. It can't be haphazard. You guys have to time block. You have to think of the things you're going to do and actually schedule them in. I did a Motivation Monday for 2.5 years straight where I didn't miss a Monday. I did a video that was called Motivation Monday every single Monday. If I didn't do it, I would get called out. If I forgot for some reason, which happened just a couple times in the couple years. And people got so used to seeing that they literally would call me out like, it's Monday and we haven't seen your video yet. What's happening? And then I would quick do it. I mean, I did it all tired one time after a long drive of a trip, and I was in my car and I looked exhausted, and it didn't matter because I had some motivation to bring to people. That was a brand I created for myself. People like to work with motivational people. It's something that I enjoy doing, so I used my natural talent and what I'm passionate about to be able to do that. But consistency was key there, you guys, because if I did it once in a while, no one would remember. But by doing it every Monday, people actually started to look for it. Thank you, Helen. You're very sweet. That's very nice of you to say. You know, the reality is you have to become a different person to attract talent. So when you say that I'm impressed with talent myself, I haven't, you know, I'm still growing, and I haven't been the person I am today in the past. I definitely have had to be around talented people. I've had to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I've had to be purposeful about building my leadership and my skills in order to become who I am to attract that talent. And I'm still on that path to continue to attract more talent, because I know that I can't stay the same if I want to continue to find top talent. I have to always be a step ahead. I have to always grow. That's a big part of recruiting, because here's the deal. You know, the best way, and this is a great segue, I didn't know how you knew that, Helen, but it worked out perfect. The best way to recruit talent is to be talent, right? People want to be around and in business with successful, driven people. That's the bottom line. So talent wants to be pushed, you guys, and they want to be held accountable. So are you actually holding yourself accountable at a high level? Are you actually pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and showing people that, showing your fail forwards, showing people it's okay to fail your way to success, showing people that you're doing things that are hard to do, and being an inspiration that way, because then they know when they're in business with you, that's what's going to happen to them. You're going to motivate and inspire them to do that. You're going to hold them accountable to be the best person they can be. You don't have to tell them that, you guys. You're showing them that by being that person. A good example of that is when I went on a little bit of a health journey in terms of more of my fitness, because I had just kind of been stuck at a plateau that I was just really unhappy with, and I put it out there to everybody in my world. They had already known about my Motivation Monday and what I was doing to grow you know, people's careers in real estate, and of course I'd become known as that, and I created that brand, and I was getting all of those referrals and attracting talent in that way. But one thing that I think pushed even my success to the next level was showing people I was willing to be uncomfortable. I was showing people I was willing to be held accountable, do things I didn't want to do to achieve a goal. And I kind of kept people abreast of my journey along the way, and had many people say how inspiring it was, because many people are in that same boat, whether it's for fitness or something else. It doesn't matter. It's the idea of it. And I do know that then that was another thing that I showed people that I had in me, that they knew if they were in business with me, I could bring out in them, or I would be able to hold them accountable to it. So make sure you're doing that, and you're using all of the tools and tracking your own numbers and setting your own goals and understanding your numbers and conversion rates. There's so many people who are doing such great things in this real estate industry, but they're not treating it like a business, and you truly have to, in order to be able to show people how to do that. And really, as a leader, that's our job, is to show people how to do that in our world. And if we're not doing that for ourselves, there's no way that we can do that for someone else. So leading by example in that way is huge. You know, knowing your scripts. Do you actually script practice and lead generate every morning, so that when you have talent in your world, you can show them that you do it and this is why you're successful? I promise you that People don't always like to think about that or hear it, but that is what will attract talent in a very, very big way. And the thing is, you guys, and we've talked about this, your mindset matters so much in this, just like it does in anything in business, right? You aren't recruiting. You are truly looking for talent that you want to be in business with, you want to partner with, and you want to succeed with and through. And first, you guys, as I've mentioned before, this is a big mindset one for me, and I talk about this with everybody I coach. You first need to do business and have business, then you need more talent. It's not the other way around. Some people believe that they just bring talent in, the talent's going to go ahead and get them the business. The problem with that is you're not leading by example. You aren't showing them how to be successful. And you're not showing them that you're somebody that will do things that are necessary to be successful. You can't just bring people in and expect them to do things that you're not willing to do, right? No matter how much business you do, that never really works if you're recruiting high talent and big talent. So don't grow in order to succeed. Make success happen so that it forces you to grow. That's when you're going to be able to attract the highest level of talent. In that sequence right there, that is what's going to bring you the highest level of talent. So ahas, questions, thoughts. We're a little bit early. There's 15 minutes. I have more I can share with you, but I want to make sure that we have some time to answer some questions. So start typing thoughts or comments or questions, and I'll certainly start to answer them. While you guys are doing that, I just want to bring a couple of social media tips to you when it comes to recruiting, because I think that it's a really important thing to understand, because right now, social media is the #1 way that you guys can get into a very, very strong relationship with someone outside of literally meeting them for coffee every morning for a month, right? So let's think about this. You have a recruiting appointment. You sit in front of them. You have a great meeting. They're not quite ready to make the move. They're in production right now. You're rapport building, you're relationship building. You are learning about them and asking all the right questions. But you only have an hour of time, and although you have some good rapport, you're certainly not in a place of a massive relationship at that point, right? When you part ways, what is going to happen? Well, you need to have follow-up systems, there's no doubt. So whatever follow-up systems you have for your clients, I would highly encourage you to put a similar follow-up situation in place and system in place for your recruits. But beyond just a normal maybe email campaign or follow-up, or just a 33-touch type follow-up campaign, those are great, and I want you to do those, but I feel like social media is the place where you truly are going to take that relationship to the next level, where you're going to then start to recruit people. So friend them on social media, friend them on Facebook as fast as possible. Statistics show the faster you make the friend request from the time that you met with them in person, the greater chance they accept it. So immediately upon ending that meeting, send the friend request. They will likely accept it. Send them a nice private message thanking them for their time and that you're excited to be connected with them, to stay in touch. And then what you guys need to do is start being purposeful about how you can actually stay in contact with them. But further than that, you can actually develop a strong relationship. So there is a tip I'm going to give you about social media. If you're like me, and I'm sure you are, because many of you probably know a lot of people, have a big sphere of influence, you probably have a lot of friends on Facebook. And it can be very hard to manage when you have so many people that you're friends with, in terms of being purposeful in lead generation and purposeful in that follow-up. So you can go into under your friends section. So when you're in the home screen of Facebook and the timeline is up, on the left-hand side, you have the groups that you're part of and the pages that you like, and then your friends. And right under that, there's something that says friend list. Go ahead and just click on that, and you can actually create lists of people. This is like your Met database, you guys. Personal Facebook page is like your Met database. All your friends, family, sphere of influence, neighbors, people from old work, church, college, high school, you got it, are all on Facebook, right? Now you're starting to build a whole platform of people on social media that you are also looking to potentially be in business with, including other realtors. The reality is you should have multiple lists. You should have your top referral partners. You should have your top preferred vendors. You should have your past clients in a list. You should have your current clients in a list, maybe your top prospects in a list, and you should have a list that says recruits. And these should be people that you've met with, that you really liked a lot, that you would like to see yourself in business with. And what's going to happen is you're going to create that list. You name it recruits or top recruits or whatever you want to name it, and you add those people's names. Now, and then you'll save it. Now, just so you know, the people do not know that they're in a list, okay? So it's just for you to organize your database here on Facebook. So now every time you want to be purposeful about your follow-up and lead generation on social media, you go ahead and just click on that friend list, and it will pop up all of your lists. You click on the list that you want, and the only people's timelines you're going to see are the people in that list. So now you can stay focused on your lead generation in social media, on your follow-up in social media, and not be distracted by all the things that can distract you in Facebook and take you away from revenue-generating activities, which is critical. So if you decide that you want an hour of follow-up a few times a week with the recruits you've been meeting with, this would be a great strategy. So now that you have all of their timelines coming up, it's very natural to then look at everything, make some comments, engage, like some posts, that kind of thing, and that's all good. Okay, I'm not here to discourage you from that at all. That's one way in which you're going to interact and stay in relationship with these people, is by commenting, is by seeing different things and liking things that they're posting and so forth. But I want you to take it a step further. If you really want to build a relationship at a high level with people, you should use Facebook to see what's going on in their life and then actually reach out in a different way, because everybody reaches out by commenting or liking, right? So what if somebody had mentioned something about an amazing brand new listing over $1 million that you had recently met with? Well, instead of maybe just commenting that that's awesome, congratulations, maybe doing a handwritten note with some kind of, you know, maybe a little gift, or it doesn't have to be a gift, but maybe it would be, maybe it's just a handwritten card, something that would actually be mailed to them that would say, oh my gosh, congratulations on this new listing. I knew that you had it in you. There's going to be many more to come. What an amazing feat. Maybe you decide that you want to give them a few tips on how to market luxury properties, or just offer to do a call with them if they are struggling with knowing what to do, that you have some advice you can share with them. Again, you're becoming specific. You are doing something personal. You're going above and beyond like no one else will do. You're sharing. You're coming from contribution or offering to help. It is huge. I guarantee you're going to make the phone ring. What if somebody you met with is going through a hard time and posted something that actually wasn't too pleasant on social media? What about sending a care package to their house, or sending your condolences, or just reaching out in a voicemail or a text message? These are the types of things, you guys, that are going to go such a long way in developing relationships with recruits. The reality is that when you meet with somebody who's a producing agent, it's probably not going to be that first meeting that they decide to partner with you. But if you build up a database of people you've met with, and you can continue to develop rapport with them and continue to show them you are the vehicle that could get them from where they are and where they want to go, through social media posting, through showing your cultures, for coming from contribution, offering them advice, offering them help, and then going in here and learning and staying connected to what's going on in their world, and then going above and beyond in response to it. I'm here to tell you that those people that you meet with are going to convert. If you want to be in business with them, they will be in business with you at some time. It may not be today, it may be in a month, it may be in 3 months, and it may be in a year, but you are going to need talent at all of those times. And in the meantime, you're going to be recruiting people when you build this database, because now you've such an extensive database of people that there's always going to be people that are reaching back out to you to have further conversations, and that are going to decide to partner with you. This is not something that, you know, you just start doing and you have 20 people on your team. If you're really looking for talent, it's going to take much more time to do that, but you can consistently recruit talent on a regular basis by using these strategies. There is absolutely no doubt. There are people inside of our world that started with us 7-8 months ago that had 1 agent on their team that today have 14, and they have talented agents. They're recruiting producing agents. Their lives have been completely transformed by being able to attract and retain talented people. So number one, you have to become who you need to become to attract the talent that you want. You have to be able to articulate where you're going and what you have to offer. You have to be able to share that vision in a way that they can tell that you are the vehicle, and that this business is a vehicle for them to achieve all of their goals inside your world. You do have to reach out to people that are doing production, that are talented people in their own industries, if not real estate. People that you wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable reaching out to. You need to be willing to do that and understand and know that you truly do have what you have to offer them to be successful. You have to have good follow-up systems. You have to build your brand, come from contribution, and do all of those things. These are the things that when you put them together will absolutely help you to recruit as many people to your vision to your business and to your world as you want to. So I have a question that's coming in. How do you handle cappers that see being on a team, they have a lower split on listings, such as 25% of the list size, sell the value right, just wanted to use specific language. Okay, Mike, so here's the deal. What I do is I say to them that I don't talk about splits, and I mean, I'll share them with them what the splits are, but I'm not going to have an entire conversation about splits. We're going to talk about net profit, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? And that's the script, the one I just used right there. So Mike, absolutely, I understand that you're going to need to know the splits that you would receive on our team for listings and for buyers. But what I'd like to do is actually have a conversation about your net profit, because that's really all that matters, right? What you take home and bring home as a business owner, and they will say, absolutely, it's about the profit. So then what I tell them is I need to understand their finances in order to be able to truly paint a picture for them to understand if this is a right fit. And I tell them, I'm not 100% sure it is until we go through this exercise, but I promise you, it will bring clarity to you when we do. And then they'll open up, they'll share their expenses, they'll share their net profit, because again, initially when they interview with you, they're going to say what they make in GCI. That does not mean that's what they're making in net profit. And many times single agents have quite a few expenses and they don't realize how much they're actually spending. So when you do this exercise with them, it's actually a huge aha for them personally and professionally. So essentially what we do is we outline all of the expenses that they are going to eliminate. Therefore, I back that into increasing their income. And then we talk about all the different things that they do in the transactions. If they're a single agent, they're doing everything from marketing to figuring out how to develop a database, to setting up their own 33 Touch, to then doing postcards and their own flyers and their home books, and they're running ads on social media for their open houses, and they're putting things in the MLS, and they're ordering the photographer and the sign company, and the list goes on and on. They're doing all their transaction coordination, and they're doing all of their follow-up, and then they're sending all their thank you cards after, and the list goes on. And so we start to talk about what they could do with the time that they are spending doing those types of things that are necessary to their business but are not revenue generating. So we can easily paint the picture that they can do between 2 and 4 times more business on our team than they could do on their own in the same amount of time. We also eliminate expenses, and then we just work the numbers backwards. To be very honest with you, for many of them, they actually are going to make similar or more money on the team, and they're going to have more of a life. They're going to have more balance. They're going to have more consistency in their business. I'll tell you that when you start having conversations with people, I would encourage you to not start talking too much about your opportunity, but rather ask a lot of questions in the first few meetings. Learn about their business. What are their challenges? What are their strengths? Where are their shortcomings? What kind of systems do they have in place? What systems do they not have in place that they're probably losing business because of? When you can figure out their pain points, then you can then you can have the conversation about that. I'll tell you, a lot of the people we talk to, it isn't about the money, it's about actually having a life. Some of them are making a lot of money, but they have no balance, they have no life, and they probably don't have a ton of consistency, so they do have a little bit of stress in that some months are so busy and then some months there's nothing, and they get nervous about starting over every year, year after year. These are the kinds of things that are actually more important to them than the money. So if you could say to somebody, if I could give you back some balance in your life, if I could take away over 70% of the things that you do on a daily basis, if I could provide you more business or more opportunity for business through that leverage and through our systems and through our leads, to be able to have more of a consistent business. And even if all of that happened and you just made the same money, would that be okay with you? Well, yeah, that seems amazing, because right now if I had more balance, and right now if I was able to take other stuff off my plate, I'd either have to spend a lot more money, which would decrease my income, or I'd have to do less business, which would decrease my income. So if I could stay where I am and have that happen, man, that would be amazing. So don't always assume that people want to make more money. They may want other things because they're burning out, because they aren't enjoying their job anymore, because they're having too many stressors coming with it. So I would just encourage you to ask a lot of questions, because that's going to bring a lot of clarity in terms of what kind of conversation that you would actually have. Do I have a sheet that we use to show what a solo agent typically spends? That's a good question. I don't. I typically really dig into their personal finances because I found that agents are all over the board. I mean, some people spend massive amounts of money, you would be very surprised, and some people run a pretty tight ship. Those that run a pretty tight ship, though, are probably working a lot. I find that there's a lot of consistency there. And they're losing a lot of opportunities because they aren't putting systems in place. Like, for example, somebody who isn't spending a lot of money, doesn't have a great CRM, doesn't have many follow-ups, they really aren't doing a lot with their sphere of influence, and we start talking to them about, wow, you had 30 transactions from your sphere of influence last year. How big is your database? If you really put these things in place, how much more business do you think you could get from your database? And they'll be transparent and say, man, I probably could double that. I just don't even have the opportunity to talk to my sphere. This just comes to me. So if you actually doubled the amount of transactions from your sphere, that would be 30 additional transactions. Let's just say your average, transaction will reap you $6,000 in a commission, even if you were on our team, because we helped you with that system. And it was, let's just say on average, you received $3,000 from that. That would be $3,000 on 30 additional people. And then, $3,000, let's say, on the other people. Let's look, it's a wash. However, you built more opportunities for business with your sphere, more referrals from your sphere, a deeper relationship with your sphere of influence, which is ultimately going to continue to spiral upward and onward when it comes to your career and your sphere of influence. On top of that, here are the other leads that we provide, which you should be able to get X amount of transactions from. And so you can see how we can monetize what they're missing and actually the loss of business potentially. It's kind of crazy to talk about that. But again, you aren't going to be able to do that until you actually ask a lot of questions. Let me just see. I know we're running out of time, but I just want to see if there's a couple last questions I can answer. So the activities that our team takes off the plate would be every single thing from marketing, transaction coordination, listing management, home books, collateral, door knocking flyers, open house scheduling, ordering signs, stagers, just everything and anything administrative, marketing, and then of course training, coaching on the lead gen system so that they can be better and they can be more efficient. They literally do nothing but go lead generate, follow up with people in their system, negotiate offers, show houses, list homes, and then basically when they negotiate the offer, they turn in the contract. So essentially we get them down to about 4 or 5 tasks, which means many of them are doing 3 or 4 times more business than they were doing on their own, if that helps you, hopefully. I do have a list of questions that I go over in different interviews. So if you want to email me, my email is Cari, C-A-R-I, @herggroup.com, which is right here on your screen. So I'm happy to, send you some of those questions if you would like. Thank you so much for all of your questions, Mike. I love that. I'm sure you asked a lot of the same questions other people on the call would have loved to have answered. I think I answered all of your questions in perfect timing. It's 3:29 Central Standard Time where I am, and I know that this is when we need to wrap up. Thank you very much for listening in. I'm glad, Mike, that I brought you guys value. I know it's a lot of stuff to pack in 1 hour. I'm happy to have offline conversations with anybody that is interested. So go ahead and email me if you feel so compelled to at Cari@herggroup.com. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys today. Greatly appreciate it. Go out there and get into conversations with talent. You all have it in you. I'm excited to hear some of your success stories. Have a great day. Thanks, guys.